Just waiting for all the noise to go away. That's really hard to do actually in this house, but I think we're okay. Why, hello there. This is Amber from DSA Threads, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Camicia I made. But first, before we talk about how I made it, we need to do a sewing lesson. Just put that over there right now. Okay, so in order to start with the sewing lesson, we do have to talk about where I got all of my awesome lessons for how to do all of this stuff, and that is from Grace's Lace, which is a fantastic website, and I am going to link to it. She now has videos that you can watch, so if the one that I make right now is really hard to follow, just go there, and she explains it really well. All of these hand techniques, it's really great. So, link will be in the description. First things first, we're going to talk about four-sided stitch, which you see a lot, and right there. I'm going to start out by drawing threads as my guidelines. This is great because it makes sure that it's absolutely straight on your fabric. I go in and I snip one end, and then I go ahead and I use my needle. You can also snip both ends. I'm just really bad at figuring out where the thread goes at the end, so that's why I'm not doing that here. And then I start doing the actual four-sided stitch. If you have questions about how to do this, I am going to link the diagram that I showed you just now. It is from Grace's Lace. I'm not sure if she has a video about the four-sided stitch, but I found the diagram really helpful. And I'm trying really hard to not block the camera with my hand, so this is some pretty awkward stitching right here. Next, when you've done the top row, what I do is I go in and I bring my lace in and I see exactly where it is that I need to pull the next thread so that I know that my lace will fit between the two. And then I start pulling that thread. Alright, so then we start doing the four-sided stitch on the bottom part. And again, this is just like, a sampler. You're gonna want to do whatever shape it is that you're doing. So if you're doing a square piece of fabric, like a handkerchief, then you would do corners on this, if that makes any sense. I will show that later. And so right now, I'm just showing you a very small portion. It's good for practice, though. Alright, after you've gotten your top and your bottom, you're gonna go in and snip the middle section. And I know this is really scary, but trust me, in the end, it will all come back together. You will stitch it back together. It will be beautiful. Now you're going to take those rough edges and you're going to whip stitch around the back, and the cool magical thing about this is that it's basically going to make that whole rough edge curve backwards, and it's become a nice lovely edge for you to be able to attach your insertion lace to. I'm using the whip stitch here, and on the top I will show you how to do figure 8 stitch. You can choose either one you want. The only real difference between the whip stitch and the figure 8 stitch is that, obviously for the figure 8 stitch, you're going to be doing a figure 8 motion. So you can see I'm going under one and going over the other. The Camicia is a pretty popular item because everyone needs it in order to wear their gown. Here's a basic diagram I did just to show how I figured out the fabric for 3 yards, and here it is how I assembled it. Here I'm marking out the hem with the 4-sided stitch, and this is it complete. Here I am inserting the lace as I showed you. Here I'm putting the edging on, the completed neckline. Here I'm working on the sleeves. This is me doing a rolled hem and then attaching the insertion lace to the rolled hem. This is one of the sleeves in progress. And then I started working on insertion seams. And I'm realizing now that we probably need to do another sewing lesson. I'm gonna start this off by saying that I basically figured out how to do this from a Pinterest picture. So I don't have a lot of instructions, except, I don't know, maybe watch this, look on Pinterest, search for insertion seams. I wish I had like better instructions for you all, or like an awesome place you could go to find information about this particular insertion seam. I had a tough time finding a resource for it. But insertion seams are really important because for anywhere on this Camicia that you don't have lace in the seam, you're gonna have an insertion seam. After doing all of the seams, it was time for finishing touches. And here we have it, the final product. If you'd like to see more videos, like and subscribe. It's totally shaking still. Please don't shake. Calm yourself.